Welcome to the Leadership with Biana Kovic Show, and thank you for being with us. Our topic, leadership, focuses on leaders such as yourselves. We believe that leadership is a skill that can be learned through practice and awareness. It is our hope that our conversation will help you become more reflective when it comes to your own leadership practices and enable you to leave a positive legacy. Our very special guest is Miss Suchi. Miss Suchi is an experienced international preschool principal and manager from Singapore who enjoys conducting laughter therapy at conferences, summits, offices, hospitals, elderly homes, dormitories, and senior activity centers. She provides individual and group therapy in educational and home settings and has been featured in local press, TV, and radio. Miss Suchi's aim is to encourage people to seek help early and get on the path to recovery using natural ways. Miss Suchi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Biana. It's a pleasure being on your show.
Miss Suchi, I am very excited to have you on my show because you're the very first laughter coach that I am interviewing. So I was wondering if you can talk to us a little bit. How did you go about starting your practice?
Okay, sure. It's absolutely a pleasure to share about my work. I was just like any other person complaining about life, not being happy. When I came across a coach who was conducting laughter exercises, I just picked up few. Then I picked up a lot of many exercises from coaches from various parts of the world. And when I started to conduct exercises, I realized this is something I'm very passionate about. It started to save people from anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. And that gave me so much happiness because I was once depressed. And that's how it all started. Now I am going around the world sharing about my work. And it's just so amazing that this ability of laughing for 15 to 20 minutes, practicing belly laughter, it's innate, it's in us, but most of the people have forgotten. And if you use the right technique, you can get all the hormones which you need in order to not feel anxious or feel depressed. So we can save so many more lives if we tell people about it, if we get people to learn about it. So it's wonderful.
Do you believe that being less stressed helps people be more effective in what they do?
Absolutely. It's proven scientifically that when you increase your happy hormones, your stress hormones, the level would go down automatically. So there is a connection.
So how do you help one relax through laughter? Can you give us an example?
Oh, it has to be learned. It's a technique about practicing belly laughter. So if one practices it for 15 to 20 minutes and just really does it himself, so it's not about me making the other people laugh. It's about I get participants to do it themselves because I always tell them that if I laugh for 15 to 20 minutes using belly laughter, my brain would release endorphins, not yours. So they have to practice themselves. This is the best part about it. So it's not about me standing and delivering talk. Of course, my session begins with me talking about what stress management is, but the second part is about hands-on experiences.
Interesting. So what you're saying to us, you have to go through a certain set of exercises yourself to basically make yourself laugh for 20 minutes, right?
Of course, it has to be learned. So what I am doing is I cater to according to the people's needs. If I'm conducting a laughter session for elderly who are wheelchair bound, I changed it. If I'm doing it for nurses, I do it differently. So I cater according to the needs and people are loving it. Yeah.
So why 20 minutes?
Oh, there's a science behind it. So if you just do it for 1 or 2 minutes, your brain will not release endorphins. So I talk about how to get dosage of serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins on your own.
Interesting. You're also a life coach, and I was wondering if you can share a little bit about your life coaching practice with us.
Yes, most of the people seem to be wasting their life getting caught in negative thoughts. So my job as a life coach is creating awareness about how powerful thoughts are. Our thoughts create our reality. So I get people to start to track their thoughts first and then work on changing thoughts to change their life.
So what you're saying to us, we have to be mindful what we think, right?
Of course, yeah. So a life coach coaches and guides people to make positive changes in their life.
And a lot of people in New York are experiencing setbacks. So how does one stay positive through so many setbacks or negative happenings around them?
It's very important for us to be centered so that you don't get affected about what's happening around you. So as I said, most of the people are living a life where they get affected by others' opinion, others' thoughts about them, and they just remain affected by it, not living their life fully. So the first thing to do is be centered. Being centered does not mean you are being selfish. Being centered means I know who I am. I know my true potential, true powers. So if someone says something about me, I don't get affected at all. I continue doing good work. So it's really important to know that all of us are very powerful, but people need to learn how to be centered so that they don't get affected by what's happening around them.
It's so interesting because in a culture where I live, people are constantly giving you feedback. Whether or not you want to hear the feedback or not, you're getting feedback. And you're encouraged to basically take that feedback on and try it. So are you saying to us that maybe say to some folks that are giving us feedback, no, thank you?
Well, being centered really, really makes you know yourself so that you know that what kind of feedback is good for you, what kind of feedback is not good for you. Some people are living their lives and just taking negative feedback and blaming themselves and being their own self-critic and not living life fully, not being happy because they are taking negative feedback from others and just believing in others, believing in that's what they are. But actually they are not. They are so good. They have so many strengths. It's just that the people around them making them feel that they are not good. So being centered is a very deep process, like how to be centered. But once you are, you're very powerful.
But how does one become centered in the midst of all this noise?
Well, it's all about spending time with yourself, spending time with nature. Nature heals, nature guides, practicing mindfulness and play some nice soothing music which will bring you inward. And once you go inward, you would get all the guidance which is needed. You don't need to really look around for the guidance. We are built very beautifully. We are designed very, very amazingly. It's just that people do not know that their intuitions can guide them.
So what you're saying to us, spend time with yourself.
Spend time with yourself, not brooding over what went wrong in the past or blaming yourself. Spend time yourself where you listen to some nice, peaceful music or just look at running water, look at the trees, the mountains, and clear all that negative energy which you are carrying in you or ideas given by people which are negative. It's a process of healing where you really say goodbye to whatever was not good in your life and start a new, fresh life. Yeah.
And how long does it take to heal?
Healing can be done as quickly as a week. It all depends on the person who is coming over to ask guidance or healing tips. So healing is all about energy. There are people who are carrying anger, hatred, and they're very violent because they not only think bad about themselves, but for others as well. So healing is needed for sure.
So my next question is, how do you work with people as a leader if your energy is centered and you have a good energy, but the people around you are not? How do you lead them to change?
So it's all about not getting affected by it. I continue doing what am I doing. And when people see my energy in real, like when they're standing next to me, they said, hey, look, you didn't even say anything. I'm just standing next to you. I can feel your positive energy. So how can I be like you? I mean, it's not that people have decided to be in that negative energy zone. They are put there, I would say. So when the help is provided, they would surely want to be like someone who contains tons of positive energy because positive energy is always very attractive.
So what about the folks that are on the defensive end and do not want to change? How do you help them change their behavior?
By being a role model, by showing them that this works, that this is powerful, that this is good for them. Yeah.
And are there any traits that a leader needs to have to be a truly successful leader, in your opinion?
It's very important for leaders to be emotionally stable. A leader needs to be very enthusiastic, have social boldness. Self-assurance is very important when it comes to being a leader. Compulsiveness is good because if you tend to get carried away by others, you're not compulsive enough or you don't really know what you want, others will tend not to follow you. Empathy, high energy, charisma. Maturity is very important. You need to be mature enough to guide your team. And you need to also have good team orientation skills.
And when you talk about team orientation, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Good team orientation skills, that means you are so into building your team positively by not tearing them apart, by not stereotyping, by not talking negative about them. You're building your team. So you're guiding your team by being a good example. So I believe in walking the talk a lot.
Just want to circle back on stress and energy management. How does one keep a stress level low when work is very intense?
When I guide people about stress management, the very first thing I talk to them about is knowing what stress is, because most of the people are going around talking about I'm stressful, but they don't really know what stress is. Stress is primarily just a physical response. So our body is just getting ready to protect ourselves from any attack. So it's just we're getting ready for that. So most of the time, actually, the situation and circumstances are not such that people need to feel stressful about, but they just get so used to it. So they remain stressful in situations where they need not even feel stressful about. So understanding what stress is number one step, which I include during my talk. And then go slowly into what are the healthier ways to manage stress. So I zoom into various types of healthier ways to manage stress. And then after that, I zoom into laughter therapy. So it takes an hour for people to really exercise and practice and know and practice mindfulness and really experience that. How does it feel when we get dosage of happy hormones ourselves?
So just so I clarify, if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying that some folks are just addicted to have the stress in their body, even though the circumstances are not stressful. Is that what you're saying to us?
First of all, I would say, Biana, they are not even aware that they are stressful. They just remain that way for years and it just becomes so habitual. Like they don't even know that they are stressful. So sometimes during talks when I talk about this is how people who are stressful behave and this is how they feel, this is what happens to them. And they say, oh, look, I didn't know that I'm stressful. So most of the people are not even aware what stress is. So I absolutely love to create awareness about it because I'm a real-life humanitarian. I visit hospitals and elderly homes. I just want people to know that stress can be managed using healthier ways. Knowing what stress is very important as the first step.
That is a very interesting concept because mostly people say, you are stressing me out, this stresses me out. But to think about that your way of life is actually stressful because that's how you are brought up and that actually it's part of who you are. It's a very interesting concept.
Absolutely. I do tell people that there is a way of managing stress without blaming others.
So, people in New York always complain about their bosses. They say, my boss is mean, that he makes me work or she makes me work hard and stuff. So what is your advice for folks that are genuinely and honestly stressful about having to work for their, supervisors that according to them are mean, unreasonable, and so on and so forth?
I am not very sure about whether those people who are complaining are really having a good leader or a bad leader. It depends on the company. So, there are some leaders who are not doing a good job. So when they are not being good leader, of course, their employees working in that company will not be happy about it. So I think it depends on the company, on the leadership style of a leader.
What is your advice for the folks who are under these circumstances? How can they manage their stress level and fear level that is attached to that particular person that, according to them, is causing it?
So it's all about, again, being centered. So when you are being centered, you are doing your job properly. At the end of the day, when you go to bed, you'll be able to sleep peacefully because you know you had done your job. You would not be affected by what your boss is saying about you. There's so much power in being centered, Biana. Once you're centered, you know that you're doing your job properly. You're giving your 100% to your job. And once you do that, and the leader is not good, the leader is not practicing good leadership styles, and there's some problem in the leader of that company, then the problem is not in you. You'll be able to sleep peacefully.
So it all comes down to what you think, right? And how you think about yourself.
Absolutely. So no matter what other people say about you, what you think about yourself is very, very important. How you feel about yourself, how good you are, it's really important and even it also allows the other people to treat you in some ways, as in like, how should I treat this person? Because this person is not competent, confident about himself or herself, then that means I can manipulate him or her. Strong people who are very centered and they know what they're doing, they are very passionate about their work, and they are good leaders. They do not allow others to manipulate them. I don't allow anyone to manipulate me.
And we have to say this because, sometimes even though you do not allow people to manipulate you, the outcome might be negative. I mean, I experienced where I did not allow people to manipulate me. The outcome was not positive and nor going into my favor. But still, I think piece of being centered and knowing the truth matters, right? Because then you can move through the experience. It can be less harmful for you.
Yeah, because being centered, knowing your true powers, knowing your true potential gives you that confidence to move on and to not to get affected by whoever comes your way. I mean, when I mingle with people, I work with people, I have some people who continue to say that there might be like out of few thousands, there might be 3 or 4 who are still saying that you are not good, you are this, but am I affected by that? I am not, because I know what am I doing. I know there are a few thousand followers. So if just 1 or 2 people to continue to say bad about me, it doesn't change me. I would continue to do good.
Interesting. Yeah. Any thoughts on learning and leadership? And why do you think it's important to constantly be open to receiving new information?
So that you are well informed, so that you are not seen as a person who is ignorant, so that you can be more confident. So learning and being teachable always shows your team members that you are genuine.
And obviously, being a coach, you are constantly guiding your clients to learn, right? Whether or not about themselves or about new things.
Yes. I need to be also aware about the new ways, new practices, so that I am on the top of it always.
And do you feel that being sensitive and sincere in your action helps you lead people better?
Yeah, I would surely say that being emotionally sensible is very healthy, but I have also noticed that there are some leaders who need to be very careful about oversensitivity because it can end up being detrimental. So I have observed that there are some leaders who are oversensitive. Of course, I have also observed there are some leaders who are not sensible. They are not sensitive at all when it comes to helping others or being there for them. So there are leaders who are not very sensitive, and there are leaders who are oversensitive. But being emotionally sensible leader is very, very healthy, and it's important as well.
This is very interesting about talking about overly sensitive. Can you tell us a little bit more, like what is being overly sensitive to you and how does actually that not helping a leader?
Yeah, an oversensitive leader tend to get caught into employees' problems. They might be sharing some issues with them. So, yeah, you can be empathetic. You can be there to listen actively. But that does not mean you get caught into their problems and issues and forgetting your other team members who are doing a good job. And it's just like you're crying with that person, you're there, and you're oversensitive. And oversensitivity is detrimental because then the person who is doing that for a long time gets that compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue is you are just too tired to lead because you are oversensitive. You get caught into others' problems and issues. So a leader needs to strike a balance between being sensible, being sensitive, and being empathetic, but not oversensitive.
So what you're saying to us, don't get caught into the drama.
Yeah, don't get caught into the drama. Save yourself. We must learn how to not get caught into drama and save ourselves. So when I talk about energy is a huge topic. So I do talk about this. Your energy is important. When we spend 5 to 10 minutes in a company of a person who is crying, brooding over, gossiping about others, they're talking bad about others, complaining about others. Now, in a company of those people, your energies would change. So you are receiving those energies from them. After some time, when you get up from there, you would feel that you are not feeling that as great as you were feeling at the beginning of this meeting. So it's really important for us to save our energies. We tend to get caught into others' dramas and we tend to get caught into others' energy levels, which are negative most of the time. So I have learned how to not to get caught into the drama and also not to get affected by others' energies. And that's something which all of us need to learn because there are people who are going around spreading negativity. And how do you save yourself then? It's important to learn.
But how do you do that? I mean, I've been in the meetings where people just go whining for an hour, and the other people are supporting that. How do you save yourself when everyone is collectively in that sort of complaining mode?
Yeah, so there are different stages of it. Like there are some people who are at the very beginning level where they're just complaining. Sometimes the energy levels are not so bad, and there are some people who are complaining most of the times, and there are some people who are just not happy with themselves, with the people around them. They're just not happy with their life. So these are the ones who are creating chaos around them, and they're creating negative vibes. They are spreading hatred. So it's really important to know what level they are at first, and then we got to guide them accordingly. So if you are dealing with your colleague who is always complaining, then first of all, you need to draw a line where you tell that person that you are there to say, I understand, but you're not really listening to what the person is saying. So you're not getting caught. So like, okay, you're being there because you're a colleague. It might be your family member. It might be your friend. So drawing the line is very important. That means you are there, but you are not getting caught into the stories, the drama. Second level is then totally try to not to spend so much time with that person. So you actually not being there, physically present, listening to that person, because you already know by now that this person talks negative most of the time. So this person is carrying negative energy in him or her. And the third level is then slowly, if it's possible, guide, coach, tell the person, or then you have to say goodbye because you are getting affected. Your life is being ruined by that person's negativity. So you have to make a call and say goodbye to that person because you want to live your life fully, or send that person to a coach like me who can take all sorts of people. Like literally all sorts of people.
So what I'm hearing, you have to set clear boundaries.
Set clear boundaries. And also you need to know the steps of like how to do it. So number one, number two, number three. So there are ways to manage people with negativity because you are not able to live your life fully just because of that person. Yeah.
So strike a balance, know yourself and know that person, understand where he and she comes from.
And know that people can learn how to change their negative mindset to a positive one. So you just need to find a good coach.
And for the folks that don't want to change, you just let them be.
Yes, because they would need a lot of help then. Your life is being ruined just because they are negative. You are not. One must also work towards being at that level where you work with all sorts of people, you come across all sorts of people, negative, positive, but you don't get affected by that because you have learned how to manage your energy.
Any thoughts for women leaders?
There are so many women who are not believing in themselves. They have a light in them, but they are not shining it. They have so much potential, but they are not reaching up to their potential just because they are being told that they are not good at it. So all the women leaders out there, believe in yourself. You got this. Shine your light. Please do not dim your light because of someone else. And wherever you go, you got to just sparkle, just shine, shine, shine because you have that light in you. And you are more than what you think you are. It's very important because there are so many women leaders out there who are very strong. They can lead, but they are not doing it for some reason. So start believing in yourself. Start working towards being your best. Yeah.
And what is your mission in life?
My mission in life is to spread positivity in whoever comes my way. Just spread that positive vibe to that person's life and spread happiness, which I'm already doing it. Spread peace, which I'm already doing it. So I'm doing it locally. And my wish is to find sponsors and fly globally and spread peace, love, laughter, light, which I'm doing it in Singapore currently. Yeah. So that's something I wish to do globally, and I know it would happen.
And it seems like it's happening because you've been talking and connecting with a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And any final thoughts for us?
Yes, anyone can do anything they set their mind to. So work towards developing a positive mindset and rock the world.
Wonderful. And how can people learn about you, contact you to be their coach or a laughter coach?
Yeah, so I have created various profiles on various social media platforms. On most of the profiles, my name is seen as MS dot, that's Miss, and Suchi, Suchi. So if you explore Miss Suchi, and if you just put it like laughter code, you'll be able to contact me on various social media platforms. Yeah.
And they can also find you on LinkedIn, right? That's how we met.
Of course, LinkedIn is my favorite platform so far. I met with a lot of beautiful people on LinkedIn. I absolutely love my LinkedIn family.
Well, Miss Suchi, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and for being on the show.
It's a pleasure, Biana. It's a wonderful feeling to be on a radio show. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Our special guest was Miss Suchi, life and laughter coach. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Leadership with Biana Kovic Show. Remember that you're all leaders in your own rights, and the impact that you're meant to achieve starts with small acts of kindness, curiosity, and generosity. Please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you again, and until next time.